Fox News Alert, we're live on the ground waiting for a plane full of illegal immigrants to land nearby Joe Biden's $1 million beach house in Delaware. The only way to get the president to react to the open border, because CBS spoke to him for 60 minutes and it never came up, is to send migrants to his doorstep. He finally said something about the illegals being dropped off where he vacations today.
Sending migrants to Delaware, do you have any comment or response to that, sir?
He should come visit. We have a beautiful shoreline.
DeSantis isn't going to Delaware. It's not a swing state. But every news camera in the country went. Have you ever seen this many reporters at the southern border? No. The flight's too far and it's dusty. You don't win Pulitzers at the border. Plus, the humidity messes up your hair. Trust me, I know. The only way you can get the media to cover the border is to bring the border to the Northeast, where it's a short drive from all of their bureaus. And the journalists, quote unquote, can be back home that night for dinner. Ron DeSantis called them out for it earlier today.
I haven't heard a peep about all the people that have been told by Biden you can just come in, and they're being abused by the cartels. They're drowning in the Rio Grande. You had 50 that died in some shed in Texas. I heard no outrage about any of that. I haven't heard outrage about all the fentanyl that's come across the border that's killing Americans in record numbers. The only thing I hear them getting upset about is you have 50 that end up in Martha's Vineyard. Then they get really upset.
If we learned anything from Martha's Vineyard, it's that liberals don't want migrants anywhere near them. To them, the border isn't a crisis. The crisis is when illegals come out of the shadows. It's only a matter of time before the illegals at Biden's beach house get deported back down south where they belong. Biden's lucky that DeSantis is sending him the polite migrants. Could be a lot worse. A new report shows that Venezuela is emptying out its prisons, sending its most violent inmates, murderers and rapists, straight into Texas. Good thing Biden's building a $500,000 wall across his property. For someone who never sees anything coming, boy, did Biden get lucky. You know, the wall was supposed to keep Hunter in, but now it has a dual use. It'll keep the migrants out. This is a national security risk, and exactly what Fidel Castro did to the United States back in the 1980s.
For Fidel Castro, it was tantamount to an act of genocide. With one fell swoop, he rid Cuba of thousands and thousands of undesirables. He emptied his prisons. He cleared the bums off the streets of Havana. Murderers, thieves, perverts, prostitutes, all were rounded up, sent to Mario Harbor, and put aboard boats bound for Miami.
When socialists sense weakness, they pounce. For the first time in U.S. history, Border Patrol witnessed 2 million people breaking into our country. 78 of those were on the FBI's terror watch list, shattering another record. And just think how many got away while the Border Patrol was changing diapers. It's not safe for us, and it's not safe for the migrants. It's a death march. Illegals are raped, tortured, and extorted by the cartels. Many of them drowned in the Rio Grande. But Biden is basically in business with the cartels. They're in the same supply chain. Human trafficking is the only supply chain that Biden hasn't broken. And the man won't take any responsibility.
Why is the border more overwhelmed under your watch, Mr. President?
Because there are 3 countries that are there are fewer immigrants coming from Central America and from Mexico. This is a totally different circumstance. What's on my watch now is Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua. And the ability to send them back to those states is not rational.
He always has an excuse, doesn't he? Every record he breaks, if it's on the border, inflation, gas prices, it's never his fault. There's nothing compassionate about this. Biden has a heart of stone. Democrats said they welcomed refugees until the refugees came to their neighborhoods. And then the Democrats turned into ICE agents and started deporting. Look at Chicago. Texas sent them a few busloads, and they shipped them to the suburbs. The mayor of D.C. declared a public emergency when the migrants showed up. She tried to call in the National Guard, but the big guy wouldn't let her. The National Guard can only protect the Capitol from Trump supporters, remember? And in New York, Mayor Eric Adams wants to strand the migrants out at sea. His plan is to put migrants on cruise ships in international waters, you know, so they can see the Statue of Liberty, but they can't set foot on Ellis Island. Isn't that much better than living on Martha's Vineyard? Democrats are trafficking migrants into military bases and quarantine cruise ships, dumping them into homeless shelters. But somehow DeSantis is the one under criminal investigation for flying 50 migrants into an island paradise that Obama calls home.
What infuriates me the most about this case is that here we have 48 people that are already on hard times, right? They are here legally in our country at that point. They have every right to be where they are. And I believe that they were preyed upon. Somebody came from out of state, preyed upon these people to just be exploited and hoodwinked into making this trip to Florida and then onward to Martha's Vineyard for what I believe to be nothing more than political posturing.
Have you ever seen a kidnapping victim look so happy? Someone please kidnap me and drop me off at the Kennedy compound. Before DeSantis flew them out, they were homeless and hungry. But after a few hours, the Vineyard libs gave them all the boot. All of a sudden, diversity was no longer our strength. The migrants aren't allowed to sleep in the mansions, even if they're empty. They aren't even allowed to clean the mansions. There's over 50 job postings in a local Vineyard newspaper, a job for every illegal. But the Vineyard liberals would rather go through a work shortage than have to live next to tacos, as Jill Biden calls them. Back in Texas, Sheriff Salazar, the guy who opened the criminal investigation into DeSantis, says there's plenty of jobs in San Antonio for the migrants.
If you go to any restaurant in San Antonio, Texas right now, you're going to wait a long time to get your table, even though there's empty tables, because there's not enough wait staff to wait on you. You're going to wait a long time for your food because there's not enough people to cook it in the back. Half the cooks maybe aren't showing up to work or they've quit. Hire these folks.
Open the border. The sheriff's hungry. Who cares how many terrorists come in? The quesadillas aren't going to cook themselves. DeSantis is under criminal investigation because he flew the sheriff's waiters to the Vineyard. Who is this sheriff anyway? Well, Primetime did some digging. The guy fired a prison guard because she supported Trump. He campaigned for Biden in Texas, even rode on Joe's bus. Not an electric bus, sorry, Kamala. But since then, Joe has given Salazar the cold shoulder. He's ignored every letter the sheriff sent. Maybe investigating DeSantis is his way to get the president's attention. You know how jealous girlfriends can be. 53 illegals found dead in the back of a hot tractor trailer. Do you guys remember that story? That happened in this sheriff's county, right under his nose. And the sheriff, who's supposed to be watching for that stuff, blamed Governor Abbott. The guy's obviously looking for a job in D.C. Instead of cracking down on human trafficking in his own county, where it's a hotbed for sex slavery, the guy would rather go in front of a camera and say it's a crime to make Biden look bad. He can't even tell you what law DeSantis broke.
At this point, I'm not able to definitively say here's the statute that they broke, either federal, state, or local. But what I can tell you is it's wrong. Just from a human rights perspective, what was done to these folks is wrong.
Democrats are investigating people. They aren't investigating crimes. Biden's the most prolific human trafficker in American history. He's been secretly flying and busing migrants across the country for the last 2 years. He doesn't give anybody a heads up. Half the time, the migrants don't even know where they're going. No one moves bodies better than Biden. The cartels have never had a better business partner. Biden flies thousands into red states in the middle of the night. But if DeSantis flies 50 to a blue state in broad daylight, that's kidnapping? This is how the Democrats stay in patter. Look what they're doing. They're trying to bring criminal charges against the two leading Republican presidential candidates, Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. Trump's house gets raided because a librarian got mad, and DeSantis is under investigation for giving a few migrants a free vacation.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.